These are this afternoon's top stories. The Republic of China Taiwan facilitates purchase of new vehicles for security forces. Guyana's top cop says bail for gun crimes mocks the work of the police, and gunmen storm police training center in Pakistan. Good afternoon. Welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Tuesday, October 25th, 2016. I am Shaira Flanders. Nationally, as the safety and security in St. Kitts and Nevis continues to be of significant importance, the government of the Republic of China Taiwan has facilitated the purchase of new vehicles for security forces in the Federation. His Excellency George Jiawei Cho, resident Taiwanese ambassador to St. Kitts and Nevis, donated 2 checks to the government of St. Kitts and Nevis at a brief but important ceremony on Monday, October 24th at government headquarters. The funds will be used to purchase vehicles for the St. Kitts and Nevis Defense Force. Prime Minister and Minister of National Security, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, expressed his delight to participate in the ceremony and described it as one that was full of symbolism and substance.
This particular juncture, the safety and security of our country remains the primary concern of all law-abiding citizen and resident of the country. And we are delighted at this time when we are asking our security forces to do more to ensure that they deliver on their mandate to make our country safe and secure. Equally, the government is being responsive to their needs by providing them the resources that would assist them in more efficiently and effectively carrying out their mandate.
Lieutenant Colonel Patrick Wallace, commander of the St. Kitts Nevis Defense Force, explained that the donation was important. He described the occasion as momentous, noting that the Defense Force has been operating a fleet of 8 vehicles, which afforded it the opportunity to accomplish its mission.
As a matter of fact, our primary vehicles was donated to us by Taiwan some 10 years ago, and they're still the primary vehicles we're operating with today. So it is indeed significant that your country has again stepped up to help our federation. I can assure you that the vehicles your country is donating is not solely for law enforcement, but we have a part of our mission, disaster relief and humanitarian assistance.
Ambassador Chu commended Prime Minister Harris for his commitment to safety and security in the Federation. He further pledged his country's assistance in areas of law enforcement.
Recently, the Prime Minister have a focus on the national security. This is very important to not only to the people of the St. Kitts and Nevis, but also is very important for the tourism development. So the government of the Republic of China on Taiwan, we would like to support Prime Minister's policy. In the incoming months, we will have a further support to your government, and we would like to work with the Prime Minister to make these countries safer and better.
In addition to Prime Minister Harris and Ambassador Chu, the ceremony was attended by Senior Minister and Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Vance Amri, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of National Security, Osman Petty, Cabinet Secretary Josephine Huggins, and Deputy Financial Secretary Calvin Edwards. In an effort to educate artists, songwriters and performers in areas pertaining to intellectual property rights, or IPR, the National Carnival Committee held an information session ahead of the opening of Sugar Mass 45. The information session, which took place on Saturday, was one where the artists were given the opportunity to weigh in on topics which they do not fully understand. Counsel Jeanne Williams, who works with the Intellectual Property Office, says continued education about IPR is needed, and although a facilitator at the forum, she did not agree with some of the policies present by the Carnival Committee.
Personally, I am not in favor of it because I believe in free exposure of art. So I'm not a fan of censorship personally, but I could understand where the Carnival Committee is coming from in trying to ensure that they are legally covered from perhaps defamation or any sort of copyright infringement that may occur as a result of somebody singing a song on one of the shows.
Williams said although the Carnival Committee's intentions may be to stop copyright infringement and remove themselves from liability, they might be doing the opposite.
The National Carnival Committee may actually, in my opinion, be exposing itself to more liability. Because if you're asking artists to submit their lyrics and you have to then put it to a panel or whatever tribunal, you have to ensure that they're okay, and the lyrics go through that body and they come back and they say it's okay, but really in actuality it is an infringement in copyright. The National Carnival Committee may then be making itself liable with the artist who sings the copyright infringing song.
Unconfirmed reports suggest that the Carnival Committee has already been red flagged by a case of copyright infringement by one of the top soca artists in the Federation.
Hi, I'm Carla Berridge. Join me weekdays at 7 p.m. for Zeliza's evening newscast. We'll let you know what's happening in your community.
And onto the regional scene. The often outspoken acting commissioner of police, David Ramnarine, is appalled by what he thinks is the lax manner in which the judicial system in Guyana treats persons who face the courts on gun crimes. He believes those persons should not be granted bail with the ease with which they usually do. Javon Vickery has that story.
Mr. Ramnarine thinks the justice system is not helping the police to curb gun crimes. The top cop pointed out that with an increase in the number of illegal firearms taken off the streets, there is also a worrisome trend regarding the granting of bail to illegal firearm holders. He called on the relevant authorities to re-examine this issue.
And we are very careless in the granting of bail in these cases. These criminals did not surrender the illegal firearms, it is clear, but are using them to terrorize and rob and kill people. And the amount of bail granted in the court makes a mockery of how responsible people in authority should behave in these matters.
The acting commissioner asserted that denial of pretrial liberty should be the deterrent to crime. He alluded to a scenario in which a murder suspect was granted bail for the possession of an unlicensed firearm.
So he's out on bail for a serious crime, and he's granted $50,000 bail for another serious crime the following month. Now he is a prime suspect. This is a troubling part of it. He's a prime suspect in a murder, in a robbery murder of a Brazilian national in the interior. He's in custody, and a firearm was used. What are we talking here? This is not something to be alarmed about.
Mr. Ramnarine also pointed out that on numerous occasions, persons granted bail for illegal possession of firearms are eventually caught committing other gun-related crimes.
This guy was charged with unlawful possession of arms and ammunition in May of this year in a court. He was granted bail. While on bail, he's arrested and charged with simple larceny of an ATV valued at $3.something million. He's granted bail again. Well, he's granted bail for that May offense in August. And in September, while on the simple larceny charge, he's granted $50,000 bail. So he's out on bail for a serious crime, and he's granted $50,000 bail for another serious crime the following month.
He further called on members of the bench to be more thoughtful when making their decisions in firearm-related cases. Javon Vickery, HGP Nightly News.
Authorities have confirmed a pregnant teenage female inmate at the Borderline Correctional Facility in St. Lucia has given birth. Home Affairs Minister Herman Gill Francis is expressing dissatisfaction with the handling of the matter. Here's more.
Pregnant and serving out a prison sentence. The reality forcing multiple state agencies into action. News Force can confirm a now 17-year-old female inmate at the Border Lake Correctional Facility has given birth. BCF officials claim the incarcerated teen mom delivered the baby at hospital. According to BCF records, the then expectant mother was initially sentenced to 12 months for a wounding offense. Herman Gill Francis is the Home Affairs Minister. He is not pleased with the handling of the matter.
It cannot be just done by the ministry. I would have to get in touch with the judiciary and the persons at Border Lake. I think that sentencing a young lady who is already pregnant to 12 months incarceration is not a good thing. You should have maybe suspended her sentence for a certain amount of time, or that Border Lake would have realized that when she was getting very close to giving birth that somebody could have been informed, like the ministry, and then some intervention would have been done. That was not done, and I'm very dissatisfied with that.
The Department of Human Services, the Judiciary, and Home Affairs are expected to deliberate on various safety net policies.
I will be meeting with the magistracy on the new DPP so that we can have a holistic approach to this thing. I mean, when persons go to the prison, if you have committed an offense like murder, obviously you can't be bailed. Although other jurisdictions now are actually allowing persons who have committed murder on bail. I don't think that we have reached that stage here in St. Lucia's yet. But even in that situation, as long as we know that the person was impregnated before they went to the Border Lake, then we have to put things in place to deal with it.
The teen mother was reportedly pregnant at the time of her conviction. BCF officials are reporting the inmate mother and child have been removed from the general female prison population and are now in a special unit.
Although I've heard that she has had a troubled past, but then we need to treat our citizens in a very cordial manner. And I think that she should have been allowed to get out there and give birth at the hospital instead of at the prison.
The incarcerated teen mom is due for release in mid-November. However, until then, the new mother and her newborn will remain behind bars at the Border Lake Correctional Facility. Rihani Isidore, HTS News Force.
And on the international scene, Nigeria's tough economic situation is making it difficult for many to be charitable in a country with a long-standing tradition of helping those in need. The World Giving Index from the Charities Aid Foundation says Nigeria has been overtaken by some other countries in terms of cash support, but still remains among the top 10 nations for volunteers offering their time to help others. Al Jazeera's Ahmed Idris reports from Abuja.
Lending a helping hand to the needy in Nigeria. A charity organization raiding donations of books, toys and food supplies for hundreds of thousands displaced by the war against Boko Haram in northeast Nigeria. The donated items are mostly from members of the organization, Victims of Violence Foundation. But over the past year, the response to appeals for assistance has been very low.
In terms of time, people are still willing to come and donate their time. But the problem starts when you need them to donate money, financial donations. That's where problems is. Time back, people donate 5,000-10,000 a monthly so that we can run our activities. But of recent, it's even difficult to get 1,000 naira.
That is the equivalent of only $3 a month, down from $15 2 years ago.
The tough economic situation is making it difficult for many to be charitable in a country with a long-standing tradition of helping those in need. Falling incomes and rising poverty rate is forcing many Nigerians to focus more on the need of immediate family members.
That is worrying for many who depend on the goodwill of others.
We don't see much alms or charity these days. Yes, times are tough, but we are in worse shape than the able people.
The Charities Aid Foundation report says while Kenya rose above Nigeria in terms of giving and helping a stranger, but on the global index of people volunteering to help, Nigeria is the highest ranking country in Africa. Timothy Asenko from the Northeast is helping to build a second mobile clinic for the Victims of Violence Foundation.
I am doing this here because I don't have much to give. I cannot afford. I don't have money to afford to the needy.
Local charities are worried that the rising poverty is making previously generous communities poorer, and unless the Nigerian economy improves, more people here will be receiving rather than giving help to others. Ahmed Idris, Al Jazeera, Abuja, Nigeria.
At least 60 people have been killed in an attack on a police training center in the city of Quetta, Pakistani officials said after announcing the end of a military counter-operation. Gunmen attacked the training center where hundreds of cadets are staying and took hostages. More in this report.
It was a late-night attack at the living quarters of police trainees. Some managed to escape.
It was 3 or 4 of them who entered our barracks. They started hitting people, so we ran out screaming. Some people ran upstairs towards the hostel. I just ran for my life. The attackers had covered themselves in sheets. They entered around 9 p.m. local.
The facility has the capacity for hundreds of cadets, and some suggested more than 200 were inside at the time of the attack.
A state of emergency has been declared at hospitals. All the doctors' leaves have been cancelled. The backup forces of the police and the Frontier Corps have reached the location, and we are carrying out an operation. God willing, we'll clear this compound soon. To tell you exactly how many attackers were involved is premature. Normally there are up to 700 cadets here, but recently a batch passed out, so I can't say for sure how many are inside.
Dozens of injured are being treated for their wounds. Aid workers are appealing for blood donations. Some of the attackers were killed and more than 200 cadets were rescued from the college by military commandos. Pakistan's southwestern Balochistan province has been plagued with separatist and sectarian violence for years. The military has cracked down on anti-state fighters and many have surrendered. But law and order in the provincial capital Quetta remains difficult to maintain. Attacks in the city have been claimed by ISIL, banned sectarian groups and a Taliban offshoot. In August, attackers killed at least 70 people. They targeted a senior lawyer first, then detonated a suicide bomb when the legal fraternity gathered at the hospital. It was the largest single attack on lawyers in the city. Balochistan has also come under the spotlight after a $46 billion investment project between China and Pakistan. It's a rail and road network which will connect the Gwadar port to western China. The Pakistani government says regional adversaries have been trying to target the corridor that will bring prosperity to the Baloch people. People in Quetta have seen security improve in recent months, but attacks like these make it difficult for them to feel secure. Osama bin Javed, Al Jazeera.
And now for the weather. Present weather is fair. Winds are light from the east to northeast at 11 miles per hour. Seas are moderate with waves reaching 5 feet. Skies today and tonight will be partly cloudy with widely scattered showers. Sunset today will be at 5:43 p.m. and sunrise tomorrow will be at 6:07 a.m. That brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am Shaira Flanders. Have a good day.